The scripture today is from Psalms. It's Psalm 72 and it's verses 12 to 14. He will rescue the poor when they cry to him. He will help the oppressed who have no one to defend them. He feels pity for the weak and the needy, and he will rescue them. He will redeem them from oppression and violence, for their lives are precious to him. And I can say that I'm living proof today of this, that God will help you. He'll rescue the poor when they cry to him. And when I was going through my abuse, I did cry to God. I was actually angry with God, but I did cry out to him. And when I look back now, and I didn't know the Lord then, but definitely he rescued me and from the violence and the oppression, and he helped me to walk away from it. So he was with me through it all. Don't know why I had to go through it, but he was with me through it all, and it's very definitely true, this scripture.
That's lovely. Thanks for sharing that, Anne. Right, Irene, if I can just ask you, what's today's programme titled?
Today's programme, Di, is about F words.
Would you like to? I'm not sure. Could you clarify?
I will clarify it, yes. When we were preparing for this month's programme, I just thought about what happens with the limbic system, how we're affected with abuse. So I'm just going to run through these F words, but we'll look at them more in depth when.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking it's not the F words we're thinking of.
No.
That's good.
And I'm sure that goes through a few people's names. When I mentioned this to the girl, my family, they went, "What?" But
some of the listeners
we're going to look at positive. First of all, we're going to look at negative F words, and some of the listeners could probably add more, and then we're going to look at the positives.
Great.
So this is a quick overview. Excuse me, of the negative F words. And for some, this is, for those who are suffering abuse, this is real. But we just want to stress that female genital mutilation at this time of the year could be rife. If anybody knows of anybody, or if it's you that is listening that is going to go through this, please inform the police. Please get in touch with us. There's help out there to save this happening. So that's female genital mutilation. That is a biggie at holiday times. And for some cultures as well, forced marriage. We're not going to look at these two F words, but forced marriage. And I think if you're a young girl or a young boy, that you're being taken back to wherever, or even in this country and being forced to marriage, there is help out there. Ring us, but especially ring the police. There are definitely services and authorities that can help in this. So you are definitely not alone. But I'm going to hand over to Anne now, because she's going to bring another F, which is football.
One of my favourite pastimes. Not playing, but watching.
Which team, man? Which team?
Oh well, I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm afraid, but there you go. I'm stuck here in Birkenhead with all these Liverpool people, but anyway. Yeah. I'm just going to read an article that was in one of the papers about football and about the World Cup and other tournaments. And the article's called "TVs Get Kicking as Fans Go Wild." Claims for damaged TVs rocketed eightfold during the World Cup. Among the most common causes of wrecked TVs were footballs being kicked at them and mobile phones being thrown. Other causes included drinks being spilled down the back. Phil Ost of Zurich Home Insurance said, after summer of football fever, fans of all ages were turning their attention to the new Premier League season. But it's easy to get carried away by the excitement of the game, and then accidents do happen. Indoor kickabouts, tossed mobile phones, and spilt drinks lead to an eightfold increase in claims for TV damage during the World Cup. So while he might be attempting a Kieran Trippier free kick, Harry Kane penalty or a Harry Maguire header, leave your football skills for the garden, park or pitch. He added, the World Cup saw a huge increase in TV claims. Now, that's just what happens to your TV during a football match, during these tournaments, World Cup, European Championships. But now, as it says, start of the Premier League season. So you can imagine if that happens to TVs and other bits of furniture, you can imagine what happens to people. I mean, some people take the football very seriously. I mean, when I was younger, I was a bit more avid than I am now, and I can understand people get really mad, and if they've had a drink, they take it out on the partner, things like that. So you can just imagine now that the Premier League season is starting again, what violence would happen.
And also because of the abuser's intimate knowledge of the people they're abusing, they can use this to play on the person's weaknesses. So we could say that the abused people live in fear. They're in fear nearly all the time. And sometimes it's this very fear that can stop and put the people off leaving the situation, because fear paralyses and cripples, and it's so damaging. The other two things that are quite big are the fear of the stigma of domestic abuse and also the loss of the person's reputation. Because even in this so-called enlightened generation, you know, people still feel the stigma of domestic abuse. It can discourage people from seeking help because they feel maybe they're to blame, they feel they're ashamed that it's happening, they feel they're being labelled and treated accordingly, they may feel isolated by the abuse, and some of them feel they can have a diminished status in society, they can experience discrimination from others, and when somebody feels stigmatised, it's very disempowering. And loss of reputation, this can be a huge worry. What will people think? How will friends and people at work react when they find out? This can leave them having loss of respect and honour by other people. Will it change how others now see them when they know this has been happening? And sometimes the abusers say they will ruin the person's reputation by telling lies about them or the situation. Then there's fear of obviously the violence and the physical pain. This is always there, even if it's not happening at the moment, like living on a knife edge. When will be the next time? There's fear and concern for their children's safety, because obviously they're in the place where this is all happening. The fear of how will this affect the children in their future? Maybe even the fear, if it gets out, they might lose their children, lose their home and possessions. And there can even be fear of the future. You know, if I do leave, what will happen? Where will I live? How will I manage financially? How can I cope with the children and what they need? How will I make new friends, find school? You know, the list goes on. And that's just a few of the fears, you know, that people can have.